you tell him to stick that gravy where where there's room in the back of the fridge. Okay, and send, and there we go. So, sorry about that, guys. It's terribly rude of me. You see, it's going to be the time of the year where the Walker family clan has to get together for the holiday season, for the Walker family holiday extravaganza, as we call it. And there's a lot of us. We're a pretty big group, and we're trying to get some things figured out and get everything planned out. So I apologize about that, but I don't know if I've ever actually told you guys, but I have twin brothers and I have twin sisters. I'm the only non-twin on my side of the family here. So right there, it's enough people to fill a house. But I also have a bunch of uncles, and a whole bunch of aunts and a busload of cousins and stuff like that. And you can see why we have to start planning this stuff now because once it gets here, there's just so much to figure out and so much to do. So I apologize for being on my phone, but I'll put it down now and we'll get to that. So enough about me and my crazy family. It is math time. So let's get into some math. Today we're going to be talking about and continuing to build upon what we know about division and enhancing our skills a bit, kind of adding some extra layers to it, and looking at how we can divide by multiples of 10, hundreds and thousands and things like that, and maybe making some common connections between what we know about multiplying by tens and hundreds and thousands and what we can apply to dividing by tens and hundreds and thousands and things like that. So it's pretty interesting. So you don't need too much for today, just something to write on, something to write with, and there is actually a place value kind of chart that you can print out. It's available in the module. Probably not a bad thing to have on hand. And if you do have the place value discs or something like that, you can use them, or you could just draw them in. That's what I'm going to be doing here. So make sure you have those things together, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Oh, sorry, I was just checking again to see how many people are attending. So far, I only got 8 people coming, so that's not terrible. And you know what? Actually, we can use this to help with our math problem here and apply this to what we're learning about. So let's kind of do a little bit of a review of division, right? So if I have eight guests coming so far, so let me go ahead. I'm going to count out 8 ones to kind of represent that visually, right? So there's my 8 ones. Not a big deal. I know it kind of overflows out of my place value chart, but that's not a problem. And in my house, we have 4 nice big tables for them to sit at. So if I wanted to divide up my 8 guests among those 4 tables, well, I could start by just drawing 4 tables, right? So let's do 1, 2, 3, 4 tables, and then I would divide my 8 guests at those 4 tables, right? So no big deal there. So we'll just do 1 here. I could put 1 there. Definitely want to separate Uncle Jimmy and Uncle Mike over here. And I'll put another guy here. Cousin Jim Bob probably wants to sit there. Another guy here. And 1 there. And look at that. I will have 2 guests at every table. Not too bad. Everyone's got plenty of elbow room. They can make those plates nice and big. They don't have to worry about anything there. So cool. So that works out pretty well. All right, awesome. Oh, hang on. So let me just get this real quick. No way. They're coming too. Crud. Okay, so actually, this is good timing here. I could use your guys' help with this. So I just got word that Aunt Marjorie and her whole clan is coming along. So that adds quite a few to our list here. And well, it's actually going to look something like this. So we had originally started out with 8 guests divided among those 4 tables. That wasn't terrible. But now that Aunt Marjorie's coming with her clan, we just stepped up the game a bit here. Now I got 80 people coming over my house. What did I get myself into? Okay, so 80 people. I still only have those 4 tables. So how many people are going to be sitting at each table now? Let's do some math here and figure it out. I'm gonna arrange some place value discs on my place value chart just to kind of get a visual of what this is going to look like. Why don't you guys do the same, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about this a little bit more. All right, so I went ahead and moved some things around a little bit, but you can see I have my 80 people coming over divided by my 4 tables. And what I did was I represented the 80 people by drawing out 8 tens, right? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. So knowing that, I can still divide it the same way, right? I just have to think that I'm dividing tens now instead of dividing ones. So if I were to draw out my 4 tables again, I could still just literally put 110 at each table. which would give me two tens at each table, which means each table would have 20 people at it. 20 people at it. Okay, 20 people at a table. So I would know that 80 divided by 4, well, it's going to give me 20. Okay. Another way I can think about this, though, is just like we did with multiplication, I can kind of like ignore that 0 at first, right? And think of this as 8 divided by 4. 8 divided by 4 is 2. And just tack on my 0 again at the end, right? No big deal. Okay. Well, that's easy enough. Well, I'm glad that kind of helped. Sorry to bring my like family situation into this, but I'm glad. Uh-oh. I got another alert about the plans. Should I look? Just. Oh. Um. So evidently there's like family in England that I didn't even know about, and they're coming too. So the guest list has grown a little bit now, and well, let me just show you. So now there's 800 people coming, and I only have 4 tables, and I don't know how I'm gonna fit them all at a table, or how many people are gonna be at each table. I have to go hyperventilate into a paper bag for a little bit, but you guys want to try to figure this out for me? Tell me what you get. I'll be back. All right, what'd you guys get? Cause that's a lot of people. All right. Um, so let's take a look at this realistically for a second here. It's not too bad. We can figure this out, right? We'll make this work. So if I had 800, 800, I could still think of this the same way, right? I could still use my place value to help me out, and I could drag 800s out here, no big deal. And then I could take those 800s and put them at the 4 tables, just like I've done with everything else. But now instead of it being 2 like it was the first time, or instead of it being 20 like it was the second time, now it's 200, right? It's just because we've stepped up. That's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with 800. We're dividing it by 4. So that's going to give us 200. Again, if I want to go without drawing out all these place value discs and everything like that, I could think of my initial numbers here of 8 and 4. 8 divided by 4 would give me 2. But since I'm dealing with the hundreds, it's going to be 200, 800, 200. You get the idea. So you can see how this is kind of coming together here. And we could see it kind of compares to multiplication as well. When we would multiply, we would kind of forget about the 0, and then we'd add the 0 on again at the end. Interesting, interesting. So, I just 8,000? 8,000. I don't even have, there's not even 8,000 walkers in the world. There must be a glitch with this sign up app that we have here. Let me figure out some technical things just in case. Take a look at this for me. What if 8,000 people were going to show up at my house? How many people would have to sit at each table? And how big of a table am I going to need to fit them? Work on that real quick. I'm going to figure out what's going on with this sign up app, and hopefully I don't have that many people coming. All right, so there seems to be some glitches going on, so I'm just going to put this down and turn it off for now, because I don't need any more distractions. But if we were handling this many people, again, 8,000 divided by 4, I could drag out my thousands, and I could put them into different groups. But really, I could just think of 8 divided by 4. 8 divided by 4 is 2. But since I'm dealing with thousands, this is going to be 2,000. Okay, so 8,000 divided by 4 is going to be 2,000. Okay, so I would have to fit 2,000 people at each table. That's not going to happen. I don't think I could fit 2,000 people on my whole property. I don't think that's going to work. Plus, my neighbors probably wouldn't be too happy. So again, I'm sorry this caused a little bit of a distraction with this lesson. So let's forget about this whole family gathering for a second and jump into some more different math and see if we can apply what we're learning here in some different ways. All right, guys. So my idea was to do some more math with you, but I got some conflicts going on here, and I could use your help if it's okay. So, come to find out, the app is having problems. So I'm not expecting 8,000 people at my house, or even 800 people at my house. But according to this, 500 of the Walker family clan is coming to my house. So I have these 500 people coming over, right? But I was able to get another table, so that'll help, right? Um, anyway, so now I have 5 tables that I'm dealing with. So I could divide this really quick, right? This is easy to do. Um, what is 500 in like in its unit form? Like what is it made up of in its most basic form? It's made up of 500s, right? 500s. And I could think of it that way, 500s, and kind of like not worry about those zeros for the second. And I could do 500s divided by 5. And we know that 5 divided by 5 is 1, right? Okay, cool. Thanks for helping with that. So 5 divided by 1 is I'm sorry, 5 divided by 5 is 1, so I would have 100 left over, or not left over, 100 at each table. So 500 divided by 5 is 100. That's easy enough, right? Okay, so 100 people at a table, not ideal. I think we can make that work though. Just close quarters, maybe some people sitting on some laps, no big deal. We'll figure that out. Um, so thanks for helping me with that. That really helps out a lot. So let's go ahead and move on to our. Gotta be kidding me. All right, so that's good though. Aunt Susie can't make it. They can't get plane tickets over here, and neither can the Walkers from France. They're gonna have to stay there either. They can't get plane tickets. So cool, cool. So that's gonna cut down a bunch of people. So that's gonna be about cool. Now there's only gonna be about 350 people. So still a lot, but we can work with that. So I have those 5 tables and 350 people. How would I figure this out? That's a big number. How could I use what I know about zeros and multiplying by multiples of 10 or dividing by multiples of 10? How could I use that to help me out? So really what I want to do is I want to think of that 350 in its unit form, right? So I don't want to think of it as tens. I don't want to think of it as hundreds because I'd be leaving out this 50 here. But I can think of it as 35 tens. 35 tens, right? And I'm going to divide that by 5. So essentially, again, I'm just kind of forgetting about that 0 right now. 35 divided by 5, well, I could do that. That's easy enough. That's going to give me 7. So I would have 7 tens at each table. And 7 tens at each table is the same as 70. So 350 divided by 5 is going to be 70, okay? And again, in this particular format, I didn't forget about the 0. I just rewrote it so it's 35 tens and not 350. Same number, same amount, it's just going to look a little different. It makes it easier for me to divide because I could divide 35 by 5. Not a problem there. All right, so 70 people at a table. I'm going to need some bigger tables. Okay, let me think about that for a second. While I'm brainstorming about that, I think you guys are starting to see how this could work and how we could divide multiples of 10 quite easily when we're dividing by single digits. So we've kind of ended up killing 2 birds with 1 stone here. You scratch my back, I scratch yours a little bit. You help me solve these problems. We kind of learned about dividing by multiples of 10. So not too bad, right? So since you guys have been so awesome to me, I was wondering if you can help me out with one more thing. All right, so in addition to hosting this Walker family holiday extravaganza, I gotta find everybody some hotel rooms so they have a place to stay, because it's gonna be enough just having them come here for a party and never mind having them stay here. I think that would just be insane. So I found some hotel choices here, but I gotta figure out the room numbers to make sure I'm gonna have enough room for everybody, right? Um, so I have these 2 hotels here, and we're talking about guest rooms, and it says the Hometown Hotel has a total of 480 guest rooms, and that's 6 times as many as the Travelers Hotel down the street. So how many rooms are there at the Travelers Hotel? So I want to see how many the Traveler has, and then I can compare that um, to the Hometown Hotel and just make sure if I have enough rooms altogether for everybody to stay here, right? So let's see if we can figure out how many rooms there are at the Travelers Hotel. That's our main question, right? That's what it's asking us. How many rooms are there at the Travelers Hotel? So we don't know what that is. So I'm going to list that here. I'm just going to abbreviate it as a T and an H, Travelers Hotel. I'm just going to draw like a box to represent that, how many rooms they have. And we don't know what that is, right? So I'm going to put an R here for rooms. I don't know how many rooms it is, but we know that the Hometown Hotel has 6 times that amount. So that means they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? 6 times whatever the Travelers Hotel has. Do we know the Hometown Hotel? Do we know how many they have in all? Yeah, that has a total of 480 rooms, right? Total of 480. So let me go ahead and write that in here. 480. Cool. As many as the Travelers Hotel down the street. How many rooms are there at the Travelers Hotel? So if I were to take that 480 and divide it by 6, divide it by these 6 boxes, I would know what each box contains, right? And then I would be able to figure out how much the Travelers Hotel has because they only have one of those boxes. They're the same, but they only have one of them as opposed to the Hometown Hotel that has 6. So let's go ahead and set that up as a division problem. I'll let you guys do it too, and then we'll figure it out, and we'll come back together and share it. All right, so I set it up two ways here. I did 480 divided by 6, and I did 480 divided by 6. Same thing, just the two different formats that we can write it in, okay? And really what I just want to look at is I'm going to pay attention to these 48 tens right here, 48 tens. So if I did 48 tens divided by 6, well, I know 6, if I count by 6, if I make groups of 6, how close can I get to 48? Let's see. 6 times 6 is 36, times 7 is 42, times 8 is 48. Perfect. Okay. So that means this is going to be 8 tens, which is the same as 80. So I know that each one of these blocks is going to represent 80, or at least should represent 80. So I could check that if I wanted by multiplying 6 times 80. And it should give me the total of 480. So let's just check that real quick. 6 times 0 is 0. 6 times 8, well, that's 48. Perfect. So if each one of these blocks is worth 80, our one block for the Travelers Hotel is going to be worth what? 80 as well. You've got it. So the Travelers Hotel has 80 rooms. The Hometown Hotel has 480 rooms. So between the two of them, we're talking about 560 rooms. I think we'll be okay with the amount of people we have coming. So again, I thank you guys for helping me out with this. Like I said, that Walker family holiday extravaganza can get out of control for sure. So thanks for helping me to figure out what I need to do to make everybody comfortable, make sure I have enough spots and everything now. So I'm gonna let you guys go so you guys can practice multiplying or dividing by multiples of 10. If you guys need anything else in the meantime, please let me know. I thank you again for all your help. And I'm going to go online right now and book some plane tickets because I got to get out of here before everybody gets here. So we'll talk to you guys soon. All right. Thanks.